What's good, y'all? It's your man, Kil.
And I'm Shandell.
And y'all tuned into the HK Couch, the official podcast of Horton's Kids and our media lab, brought to us by In a Perfect World.
Yeah, Horton's Kids is a nonprofit that serves communities in Ward 8, D.C.
Yep. And today, we have the pleasure to chop it up with one of the dopest people I know.
One of my favorites.
One of our favorites. Long-time Horton's Kids parent. Her kids have been in the program for over 10 years.
Yep.
An amazing mother. An amazing community member. She's actually the recipient of our new HK Award, the Julie Leonardo Community Champion Award.
Yes.
That she will be receiving soon. Today, we're chopping up with Miss Yolanda Pinkney. What's going on, Miss Pinkney?
Hi, guys. Thank you for having me.
Welcome to the couch.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Let's just have Miss Pinkney tell us about herself, right? What makes you tick, Miss Yolanda? What are you into? What are you aspire to do? Give us some fashion tips, all the good things that make you such a
tips.
Such a beautiful person.
So no fashion tips for you or you, because y'all already the flyers of the flyers. Negative energy and negative people make me tick.
Okay.
I'm a mom of 3. I was a resident in Wellington Park for almost 12 years. I'm very outgoing sometimes. Mm-hmm. I kind of stay to myself. I love to help people help themselves. I don't know what else to tell you. It's not really much to me, you know. That's it.
Okay. I think that's good enough. I think that's good. You did a great job.
Right, right. Let's talk about this. One of the things that we've seen in D.C. is the increase of youth violence and just so much stuff that's going on. You yourself have been a victim of that. You lost your son, Taquan Pinkney, 5 years ago to violence. Can you talk a little bit about Tay? Talk about what a beautiful spirit he was. And if you're up to it, tell us about also what happened.
My son Taquan, who was 18 at the time, was struck by a bullet walking to the store 5 years ago. He had just graduated from high school and was about to start his training in HVAC at UDC. He was a good kid, very outgoing, smiled all the time. Very positive energy, just a great kid overall. Like, I never had to worry about, him doing any type of activities or, he always wanted to help people, look out for people. Like, he was just a great guy.
So just getting back onto the topic of just like youth violence in DC, we see it happening all around us, right? And we're also feeling the impact of it. We're seeing that there's a lot more carjackings. We're seeing a lot of cars, being stolen. Those random, what do you call those things when they run into like CVS's and those group robberies and theft. And Kil and I have been a part of a couple of conversations of just trying to figure out, taking that deep dive into what the youth needs in order to help prevent them from having these acts of violence, because I don't think they're actually thinking about the implications that come with doing some of these crimes. So just based on your experience as a mom, as a community member, as just a citizen out in society and someone who's also been impacted by youth violence, what do you think our youth needs in order to help prevent some of these crimes that we're seeing?
I'm really not sure what they need because, it's a lot of programs out here for them that are offered to them, and some just don't take advantage of it, or their parents don't make them take advantage of it, and there's so much negative influence, out here affecting the kids, that parents or even adults that, the kids look up to can't control, when they're not directly there. And the kids they just be being kids, but I've never seen like this much violence at such a young age now. You know, they're starting off 11 and 12, and it's like, where is the supervision? You know, and then you have some kids who are being supervised, and the parent needs extra help or extra assistance, and they're not getting that from, our council members, MPD, other places that should be there to help with, our youth. So it's like we're really in a hard place right now.
Tell me this, do you feel like the parents need to be held more accountable?
I think every situation is different, in certain circumstances. Some parents should be held accountable. In other circumstances, like you can't control what your kid do when you're not there, and you know that you didn't raise them or instill that in them to do those type of things, and their peers have a more influence on them than you do. But what about the parents that know what their kids are doing,
Right.
that are okay with what their kids are doing because they haven't got caught yet, or that it hasn't affected them yet directly, but it's affected everybody because everybody knows somebody who's lost somebody to gun violence.
Yeah. And that's a true statement. And I like the fact that you're saying that the solution for accountability isn't just like a blanket solution. Not everyone. One thing is not going to, it's not the one size fit all type of solution. And I'm glad that you said that, because we were in a meeting recently, and a mom was very vocal about not having the government or law enforcement or other people kind of intervene in parenting, right? This idea of like, let me be the parent so I could parent my child, because sometimes when we have outside agencies that come in and help us, it makes the situation worse. So do you believe, let's say we're holding parents accountable. Let's say accountability looks like having a parenting class, right? For parents, new parents, or parents who are having a difficult time with their child. Do you believe that's like a part of like the government or outside people coming in and disrupting your parenting?
I believe that some parents that might think like that, like a parenting class that's interfering, you're kind of getting in your own way, because somebody's telling you what they're saying or what might help the situation, and for you not to even try because can't nobody tell you how to parent your kids, that's like not giving them a chance, because maybe you do need to work on your anger. Maybe you do need to work on, being there more in a different way. So, and some people, like when the government try to get involved, they don't want them involved. But then when certain circumstances, they want that help then. But you didn't want them involved. So, like, you can't pick and choose. You just got to go. You could pick and choose, but like when the resources are there, take them. Take advantage of it. Like no parents are perfect, so why not want to learn more? You can give that to one of your other friends that might teach or parent their child different from you. Like it's just hard. It's really hard to say because people don't want help when it's offered.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
Yeah, definitely. Just everybody, keeping in mind, you would tune into the HK Couch, hosted by Kil and Shandell. Yeah. HortonsKids.org if you want to find out more information and find out how you can invest in us to help investing in the communities that we serve.
Yeah.
Tell me this, Ms. Pinkney, when it comes to youth violence, what words come to mind? What are some of the words that you think of if I say youth violence? What are some of the words that just come to mind for you?
Like trauma, pain, numbness. It's a lot of words I could use for that. it's the new norm. Like, people still get upset when you hear it, but it's like you hear it so much now that it's like, wow, you can't even believe it. You just be in disbelief about everything because they're getting younger and younger. And it's affecting everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, my younger kids have even lost kids close to them.
Wow.
Their age, you know, like, so it's like, how do you teach kids to get over something that parents can't even get over or adults can't even deal with?
Right. And I love the word you used. You used trauma. Let's talk a little bit about that. Like, when you say trauma, because we all have different definitions for the same word. So when you say trauma, what do you mean by that?
Like, they don't heal from it because it happens so much. You know, it's like, it bandages up. So it's like, and then the next one happened, you know, let's bandage that up too. You know, you feel it, but it's like, life goes on. People might not reach out like that. You might not want to get the help that you need like that, living in certain areas or whatever. So it becomes traumatizing. Like, that you have to deal with that is still going on, and that is also nothing you as one person can do.
Yeah. Yeah, and we see the impact of trauma all the time, right? And it manifests in a lot of different ways. It can manifest in obviously the violence that we see, but sometimes it manifests in a child just being very withdrawn and quiet. More and more we're seeing kids who aren't coming outside, especially after the pandemic, where they're just almost becoming kind of reclusive, right? They rather stay inside, they rather play on a video game, they don't want to interact with other children, and especially because their environment isn't a safe environment. But we know that any type of issues that we see in any community always has a root cause, right? There's something at the bottom of it all that's truly impacting, affecting, or bringing these issues to life. So what do you feel is like some of the root causes within the communities that is allowing that youth violence to become so prevalent in the city?
Just people not even people. Just letting a lot of outside influences. Just the kids are so affected by these outside negative influences. Like, you know, with the videos with the guns and all of this, and, you know, the key of this and key of that, and, you know, so it's like you just gotta talk to your kids more and make sure you check in with your kids as much as possible, so that some of that good that you're putting into them, when they even doing something bad or around somebody doing something bad, it'll stick out, or they start to even feel, you know, shameful, embarrassed that, you know, these are not things that my parents taught me, or even some of the adults around me. You know, I know better. So if I know better, do better.
Right.
You know, like, kids need to be shown that they're appreciated too, and we need them to grow up to be, we need them to grow up and be productive citizens, and, you know, keep the younger generations behind them going, to know that it's other ways to deal with anger issues. You know, violence is not the way all the time, and it's really not.
Right. I think a huge thing of what, you know, and I know Horton's kids that we're trying to do is really, you know, come into the communities and really work with the families. Like, I think that's one of the biggest things I love about us, is that we're not just working with the kids, we're working with the families, we're working with the communities, because like we were talking about off camera a little earlier on, a lot of seeds have been planted in our kids. A lot of seeds have been planted in our community, and they've been watered, and this is the harvest. So I feel like what we have to do now is dig up that soil, dig up all that bad soil, dig up all the weeds that were planted, and plant new seeds. So like you said, that our kids understand, like, when you get angry, violence doesn't have to be the first thing that happens, but we also have to get that through to the parents, because a lot of the parents a lot of our kids are just doing, they're just
What their parents,
emulating
yeah.
It's taught
what they see every
behavior.
day, either
Yeah.
what they're taught or, what's seen. So I think we kind of have to dig that up. So what would be some of the new seeds you would want to see planted in our kids?
The new generation needs more compassion. They need compassion, gratitude, like they need to value things.
Yeah.
Like they don't value a lot of things. It seems like the young generation don't even value life. It's like it's a game. They come back from it or something like that. Like that's how they move. But it's like the decisions they make, some of them are permanent. Like they're not just temporary. But if the community comes together and we stick together strong and just really be here for the youth and show them that it's other ways to do it without being violent, without being negative, we're positive as one. We're better as one than divided.
Right. One of the things I love that you said that you want our kids to learn compassion, all of those good things that make you a good citizen. And that's what we work on here at Horton's Kids is social emotional development. Because we recognize that that's some things that kids are missing, and more, especially I like talking about the pandemic because I think that it's like we went into hiding and we came back out and everyone came back out strange, right? It's like I had to learn how to do life again as an adult, and I could only imagine what it's like for a child to, go back into school and someone's telling you, oh yeah, you have to compromise with this stranger. And it's like, I don't know how to do that. Like, I haven't been doing that for the past 2 years. Where's my computer? Let me talk to my teacher and my friends through the computer. And I also like that you said that, the community has to come together. But, in order for the community to come together, there has to be some sort of healing. Right.
True. That is so true.
And what types of healing do you feel like the community needs in order to come together?
I don't even know. I really don't. Because I don't understand why we all don't want to come together and heal. Because we're all hurting.
Yeah.
We all feel it. Like, nobody wants the next person, their neighbor, their sister, their cousin, their friend to feel that pain of losing a loved one, yet a child. You know what I'm saying? That's unbearable, So why not come together? But then it also shields you, because you're so hurt from the situation, So that's really hard because we know some of the things we can do, but it's like, how do we make us, not just them, even myself included, because I get my days, how do you stay committed and keep doing it, and push through it, but I guess you could do that with all the strong people around, on your bad day, to pull you up, to help you, keep going. So I just think we really need to stick together.
It's a dope point. Tell me this. You have been a part of Horton's Kids for, I want to say, the whole time you've been living in Wellington Park. Your kids have been part of the program. What made you want to partner with us? You're talking about the community coming together and everything like that. What was it about Horton's Kids that stood out to you that you wanted your kids and your family to be a part of that?
The simple fact that these people volunteer their time out of their day. A lot of them, no children, and they take the time out their day to come and be with our kids, to show them different things, expose them to other ways of solving problems that not even our kids might not know, we might not even know as parents, That made me really want to be like, okay, I want my kids to go and see, what's going on around here. And that made me want to be, that kind of piqued me to be like, okay, let me see what's going on with them, And the fact that even the ones with kids brought their kids to be around our kids, like to interact with our kids. Like, it was like the simple fact that they extended it to like family instead of just like a resource center.
Yeah.
That's great. Like, I like the feeling that they give, that you guys give us, me and my family in particular, and other families in that community. Like, we need that.
Yeah.
That's so dope. I love hearing that because we love your kids. I mean, we love all of our
Yeah.
kids that we serve, but I mean, your family, just seeing them all grow up and being blessed to be able to do that. Because again, we here at Horton's Kids, I look at it like we're servants. You know what I mean? And we want to make sure that we're serving you. Same thing, you go out to dinner, you want to make sure you have a good server. I want to make
Right.
sure you're getting tipped right, so we want to make sure that we're good servants and we're good stewards of the children that you and other families are entrusting us with. So it's a blessing to be able to hear you say that about it. What do you think is one of the biggest things that can, again, you talked about, what our kids have, what they need more of. If you had one wish, you know what I mean, just across the district, because these kind of crimes are going on across the United States. It's happening in Philadelphia. Right. It's happening in New York. It's happening in Chicago. It's happening everywhere. If you could wish for one thing to change, what would that one thing be?
For everybody to come together as one. In a perfect world, everybody would get along, but I wish the violence would stop.
Yeah.
Like, so much of it.
Yeah.
Like, I really, really wish that they could cut back on the violence. We deserve a break.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we all do, right? We do. And I know that you, like when we first started speaking, we know that you've been impacted by the violence. We know that your family has been greatly impacted by the violence. And this is 5 years later. Mm-hmm. What would you tell someone who has recently been impacted by the violence? What kind of advice would you give them?
It's going to be a rough road, but you can get through it. Like, with the right people around you, with the right therapists, with the right support, you can get through it. You're going to have your days, your weeks, maybe your months, maybe even your years, but you can get through it. Like, you don't forget it, but you learn how to go with the flow. You learn how to stop forcing yourself. If you feel like crying, cry. If you feel like laughing, laugh. Like, it's a journey that you can't really predict. You just gotta, it's like a roller coaster. You just gotta put your seatbelt on and ride. But you get off safely.
And one of the things that I love about your story and your testimony is you've been through counseling. Mm-hmm. The kids have been through counseling. You've come to me like, Miss Kil, I don't like this one. We're going to find somebody. We're going to find somebody else for you. Like, you're taking those steps. And so many people, I feel like a lot of times, don't want to talk to anybody about it. You know what I mean? And so I think, I commend you for taking those first steps and getting the healing. It's like going to the doctor. If your foot hurts, go to the doctor. I tell people all the time, we fight for these insurance benefits. You getting a job and now you got the insurance, but you don't want to go to the doctor. Yeah. Like, you've got to go to the doctor, and that's the piece of it that I loved about you. And if you didn't like the first counselor, then we looked for another counselor. And you kept going, like you said, on the roller coaster to do what you had to do to repair yourself, to then be able to repair your kids. Because I think that's the hard part. So many parents are hurting themselves and still have to raise other kids. And they can't get past what's going on. So you can't help your kids. Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about counseling and like what did that do for you? Did it help? I mean, you know, maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But what made you want to take those initial steps that so many people don't want to take?
I was trying to deal with it by myself, and that wasn't getting me nowhere. So I just was like, let me try this counseling thing. And I got one good counselor out of all the counselors that I had.
Now, how many did you go through?
I can't even keep track.
And the reason why I'm asking that is because I just want people to see that this is it's not a one, one size fits all, and that's what happens. A lot of people are like, I'm not going to keep opening up to somebody new. So that's why it's so important for you to share. Like, hey, I went through a couple of
irritating things,
right?
Just opening up to somebody new, but getting a good counselor is like dating.
Right, it is.
Like dating, you have to keep on until you find the right one.
Right.
And when you find that right one, it don't feel like counseling. It feels like you're talking to your aunt, your uncle, your girlfriend, your mom, because you just feel that connection. You know when you have the right counselor, and you know when you have the wrong one. So it took me some time to get the right counselor. I want to say maybe 2 years to get the right counselor for me. Because I feel like, to me, if you haven't been through what I've been through, you can't counsel me.
Was that important?
Very.
Okay.
Very. Because I've had some counselors compare my son's death to a stumped toe.
Really?
Right.
That's interesting.
Right? Like what?
Hey, like a stumped toe, you stomp your toe and it's going to get better. Like, to where it made me be aggressive. Like, wow, you really comparing my son to a stumped toe? Like, my son who lost his life walking to the store, shot in the back. Like, no, that's not compared to a stumped toe. So that was in the beginning, that really pushed me away from counseling like that. And then I got a good counselor after that. And she stuck with me, and she really stuck with me. And when I lost her, it was really hard for me because I was attached to her. But I knew that she had to go on and do other things too, and I knew that talking, even though it was 3 times a week, it helped me so much. Like, just getting it off my chest. Just not even just talking about what happened with Taquan, talking about regular things in life, things I wanted, places I wanted to be, who I wanted to become, because I had to learn the new me.
Yeah.
Because the person I wasn't no more. The kids I had, they weren't anymore.
Yeah.
I had to learn everything all over again. And I think counseling is so important in that journey, because you think you heal, but you don't. You just learn how to hide it or mask up.
You do. I want to recognize what you just said. I had to learn the new me. And I know I've shared some of my personal story with you, and that was one of the things that I would tell people after I lost my mom was that I'm not the same person that you used to know. Like, before I was bright and bubbly. Then after I got a little serious. And I think a lot of people don't recognize that, right? Especially after tragedy. And I don't think people don't recognize it externally, like me looking at someone else, and also internally, where you're trying to just go back to your new normal or this old personality that you had. And it's like, yeah, you are a version of yourself, but you are like 2.0 because you have to learn how to navigate and move through life with a big piece of baggage, right? That you have to continuously be okay with every single day because life moves on. That's a hard pill to swallow when you lose someone that's really near and dear. Life moves on, but it all depends on how you move on with this new thing that you had to go through. So I commend that you found the emotional intelligence to recognize that, and also to, make the effort to be better, right? And articulate those feelings, because what's very important is that we know how we feel, right? That's a huge thing. Knowing how you feel at every moment and naming it.
And letting others know how you
Yes.
feel, because that all plays a role. If you know how somebody's feeling, you'll be more empathetic. Like, hey, sometimes they're having a bad day today. Like, okay, they're having a good day today. You're going to add to it, So you got to play that, letting the people know how you feel. Good day, bad day, just letting them know so they can meet you where you're at. Like, I could be smiling, dressed today. You don't know that I'm feeling like crap on the inside until I tell you, hey, I'm having a bad day today. It's rough, Like, a lot of people don't even know I lost the child if I don't tell them, because they don't see me sad all the time, or they don't see me down all the time, but they might not be around those times. Like I said, I can manage better or more. I know if something's going to trigger me, can't do it this day. I might have to do it the next day. If I smell something that reminds me of, I might want to smile instead of crying. Like, I do things for myself to make myself feel better, because I know that he don't want me to be sad all the time.
Right.
Thank you for sharing that.
And another thing I want to commend you for is not only making sure that you saw a counselor, but making sure your children were going to counseling, because I think a lot of times people may lose touch of that. And they may not really be thinking, oh, my kids. I mean, I've seen, it's almost a situation of, like you said, it happens so much you become numb to it. So it's a situation of, oh, they're good, but are the kids good? They lost a brother. For a lot of siblings, they may be closer to the person who they lost than you were as a mother.
That's a fact right there.
I know Gilly was saying that for $1 million worth of game when his son got murdered in Philly, was like, I'm worried about his siblings, because they were closer to Cheese than I was as a father. So a lot of times so I definitely commend you too. And what made you want to go get counseling for the kids?
I seen how my oldest daughter was affected, because, like you said,
that was her best friend.
Gilly said the kids are, that's the person you're good with, you're bad with, you're dirt, like, that was her older brother, like, so when he took the soda, she drunk it with him. When she took the chips, they broke it down together from me, like, it was them against me, because they're siblings. So it was like, to see her hurt like that, and it was nothing that I could do about it. And for such a long time, I just wanted to do everything possible to help her feel any type of way better, and I knew that her hurting was affecting the younger kids who was still looking up to her to be here. But I just didn't want her to exist. I wanted her to not lose her purpose and why she was here, even though she lost her best friend. And that's what pushed me to get her into counseling, to talk, even if it wasn't counseling, mentoring, people at Horton Kids, anybody that she was willing to talk to, or to talk to her, to make her, not even make her, to help her get through this situation. That's what I wanted her to do. And she had to try on counselors just like I did. Like, it wasn't as many options for her because she was younger. But once she approached 18, she had to, she had to pick and choose too, to where now she's still going to counseling, too. So counseling it opened up a lot for me. Like, I wish a lot more of our families in this community took advantage of counseling and didn't look at it was like, oh, we don't go to counseling. Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to. That needs to be the new normal, going to counseling. Mm-hmm. Like healing, trying to heal, taking the steps, like if it wasn't for counseling and, you know, some of the one-on-ones with you guys and other people's, I don't know how I would have got through this. And I don't know how I, you know, still get through this with those people and that counseling.
I think the dopest thing about counseling is I always tell people, it's like if you like sports, it's like going to practice.
Yeah.
You can't expect to win the championship if you're not going to practice every day. So, you know, to me, counseling isn't just about when things are bad. It's also about when things are good.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just don't practice after a loss. You keep practicing after the wins. You know what I mean? I think if, you know, I think there's just that buzzword of counseling. I'm not crazy. What
Right.
you trying to, you
That's
call
it
me
right
crazy?
there,
Like,
that-
I'm not crazy. Nah, it has nothing to do with being crazy. It just has to do with the goal of being the best you that you can be.
Right.
You know, and I'm always telling people, Tim, you know, Michael Jordan had Tim Grover. That was his trainer. You know, Steph Curry, amazing talent, but he has a shooting coach. Beyonce, amazing, you know, entertainer. She has a choreographer. Like, these people have people who help them become the people that we see.
Yep. That
You know,
know more.
But that's the behind the scenes stuff that we don't see. We see Beyonce, everybody want to be Beyonce, but people don't want to work out. People don't want to practice these dance steps 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, you know? So I think the thing with counseling is just really wanting to be the dopest you that you can be.
Right.
And having more people decide that, because one of the things I heard you say about tonight, you didn't want her to just exist.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people are doing. If we're keeping it a bean, a lot of people out here, not just in these neighborhoods that we serve, a lot of people in general are just existing.
Yes.
They're not living. And that's what I love that you said. You didn't want tonight to just exist. You wanted her not to forget her purpose.
Right.
And that's what a lot of adults have done.
I had a counselor tell me that, you know, you have more than one hat. Just being a mom isn't just your only hat.
Yeah.
So that made me realize, like, she said, when are you going to stop just existing and start living? Don't you want your kids to do the same thing? And that really stuck with me. And that was a counselor I got through y'all, too.
Horton's kids, we just be throwing alley-oops.
Yeah.
Right.
We throw the alley-oops all day. We throw them all day. But but again, this is the blessing, and this is what, you know, I love talking to parents about, is hearing, because we do the work, y'all. We do the work. We do the work. If you don't know about Horton's Kids, please, hortonskids.org. Come out, volunteer. I tell people so many ways you can support us, and it doesn't have to just be money, because when people hear support or fundraisers, money, we do need money. These kids don't, this stuff ain't free, you
Right.
know, but there's still so many other ways that you can support, you know, our organization, because we do the work. And it's just so great to hear from parents, to hear that we are doing a good job. So I thank you for sharing with us that we're doing a good job.
Yes, you guys are doing a great job.
Well, let's talk about you, because you're about to get this award.
Yes.
You are getting the Julie Leonardo
Well
Community
deserved.
Champion Award. You out here winning Grammys out here now in the streets.
The Horton's Kids Grammy.
Yeah, the Horton's Kids Grammy. You out here winning.
Grammy.
Right, you winning Grammys out here in these streets, man.
16th annual, right?
Well, this is the second annual.
Second.
The Horton's Kids, the Julie Leonardo
Award, yes,
Because this is for
okay,
Jules.
okay.
It's
you
going to
know.
be at a gift thanks.
Yes, this is for Julie. Yes, this is
Oh.
her award. You know what I mean?
I love Miss Julie.
Yeah, we miss her.
I
But-
miss you too, Miss Julie. So
But here's the
much.
dope part. I was here when Shandell told you about the award,
Yeah.
and you started crying.
Yeah, she broke a gangster down. She did. She got me.
What made you react like that?
Cause I don't get nothing. Y'all know that. Like, I gotta get it or do it. So, and people don't show me they appreciate me besides my mother and my kids. So for somebody else to appreciate me and see that, like, it felt good. Like, it felt really good. So it kind of, hit me right there, but I'm back.
You back? Gangsters back? All right.
Yeah, but it felt good. It felt really, really good, because I see the potential in Wellington Park, and it's such a great community. Like, the people are great, sometimes we don't work good together, but sometimes we work great together. And when we work great together, that's the most fun times. So I'm honored, to get this award, you know.
And you are a true champion. We appreciate all of your feedback, your advice, your loving volunteerism here at Horton's Kids. And there was
love the
nobody else that is more deserving of this award than you. So I'm happy. I'm happy that you're the person that's receiving it.
Thank you so much. Y'all made me be like that, though.
What you mean?
Like, love the kids, want to interact. I mean, I like the kids, but when I see y'all just always pushing them and, interacting with them, that made me want to come to the center more and volunteer more. And because you never know who those kids need to talk to or who they want to talk to, Kids got to be comfortable with you, And a lot of them are comfortable with me. And I didn't know that they were comfortable with me. So we have a lot of outside conversations, even the moms. Like, we might talk about different things that I never would have opened up or even wanted to talk to nobody else about, and maybe vice versa for them. That makes me feel good to be that person that they want to confide in or talk to, or I might can help them.
And I want to talk a little bit about that, because with you doing that and coming to the center, I don't know if you realize you're showing people that you're a beacon of light.
Yes.
And the reason why I say that is because you know me, my analogy, Shandell. God forbid you're lost at sea, you're in this raft, it's dark at night, and when you see a light, it lets you know that something is there. And then you start going towards that light. So for you, for the community to know what you've been through and to see you come out and volunteer at Horton's Kids, it lets them know that you're the beacon of light, to let them know, oh, I can do that too. Because a lot of times when people who have lost people to violence or have lost people in general, they stop living.
Yeah.
Yep, that's true.
So what happens is when they see you doing it, it makes them want to do it. So it's no shock to me that you're saying how kids are opening up to you outside of Horton's Kids, and that other parents are opening up to you outside of Horton's Kids, because you become that beacon of light for people, which goes right into the wonderful podcast that you're about to start.
I cannot wait.
Called Tay's Way. Can you tell us a little bit about Tay's Way, how it came to be, what you're doing with it?
It came by Mr. Kil pushing me and keep on.
Well, I don't think I was pushing you. I mean, am I pushing you? Like,
lovingly nudged.
That's better.
Okay.
Or
I'll go with loving.
motivating me, like, I'm not even gonna say that, encouraging me. Yo, talk to people. Let them know, you can talk to people. Let them know that you've been through that, that they might can relate to you. Everybody's story is different. And also Miss Shandell, too, telling me, I always should talk to people, because I talk to people a lot. But ultimately, they got me thinking about it. They spiked the interest in me. And I think it's a great thing for us to talk to people and other parents, even kids, other families that's been affected by gun violence, just to get some people's stories out there that didn't have as much, media or light to it, just to see, we want to hear everybody, how they feel, how they pick up the pieces. Maybe they can help me. Maybe I can show them what I did. Maybe they want to go through some of the counselors I went through, Maybe we can start going on walks together. Anything that we can do to help us through this healing journey that we're on.
Yeah.
And we're going to be on for the rest of our lives.
Yeah. And you do know, like, in our community, the way that we learn is from telling stories from generation to generation. So we are the orators of life. And in order for us to continue to grow, other people to continue to grow, it's really important for them to hear how you overcome a lot of stuff. So without a doubt, I know you're going to be touching people's lives.
Yeah.
I'm going to try. I'm going to try.
That's all we can ask.
That's all I can
Isn't
do
that
is
it?
try.
Yeah.
That's all we can do. Well, we thank everybody for tuning in to the HK Couch. Miss Pinkney, social media, anything, where can people get at you? You know, there may be a mom out there who's touched by your story. Is there anywhere that they can reach you?
My social media, Facebook, I think it's Yolanda Pinkney.
Okay. All right.
Instagram. No, Facebook, Yolanda Pinkney.
All right.
That's good.
All right, that's it. That's good. Well, again, congratulations on this award.
Yeah.
We can't tell you how much we appreciate you.
Yeah.
You know, and
Thank you
this
guys
award
so
is a
much.
very, very, very small piece of the puzzle of everything that we want to give you and everything that you deserve. So looking forward to that. Definitely looking forward to Tay's Way, because I know in my heart of hearts that this is going to be able to help other people heal, because that's what we all need, you know, is a healing. Everybody, there's so many people who, again, aren't healing from things that have happened years ago, you know, and I'm talking childhood sometimes,
Right.
you know, and it's never too late to heal. So that's why I'm so excited about this podcast, because I know we're going to get that. Shandell, where can they get at you?
On Instagram, my name is Love by Shandell. And I also want to just tell Ms. Pinkney, thank you so much for being our very first guest on the HK Couch. It's been an honor and a privilege to chop it up with you today. Hey, that's what Kil says all the time, to chop it up with you real quick. It was an honor and privilege to speak to you today and just hear your beautiful story, and also for you to share with us, your hopes and dreams for your community and how we can kind of prevent some of this, our youth violence that we're seeing that's so prevalent in DC.
All right. And you already know what it is with me, Kil, 889 Twitter, IG. It's a lot of hip-hop takes, but, you know, I'm talking about everything. But at the end of the day, just, again, bringing it back to Horton's Kids organization here in Southeast DC.
Yes.
Please, hortonskids.org. Check us out, different ways that you can volunteer. We're looking for mentors. Again, we really need people to pour back in to our children. And again, I always tell people it's not always about money. You know, you can volunteer your time. There's somebody who may be watching who's not in DC, but guess what? Maybe you know somebody who's here in DC.
Right.
Maybe you know somebody who said, man, I really want to get involved in some community work. What can I do? Oh, just saw this dope podcast, the HK Couch. You know what I mean? So I'm very big in telling a friend and telling a friend. So, you know, we'll check y'all next week, y'all.
All right. Have a good one.